Hey YouTube, Gundam here. I am back in Kinetic Void. Now if you notice, it is 0.013. It was 0.01 when I did my video on the Percival class Assault Destroyer. Today, I'm going to be answering some YouTube comments. My video on my Percival class Assault Destroyer has 596 views while I'm recording this. There's only 2 comments though. Okay, one technically 3, but one of them's mine. The first comment is by XX317XX. He asks, "Is there any way to compare the ship with a character?" And I feel that there is. The J98 fighter, which you can plainly see it here, it actually has this gun here that is stock. Everything else that I put on mine was not. I'd assume that that is just a cockpit, a single-seated cockpit, maybe 2-seater. So think of that, maybe 2-seater. It's not that much. If that's the case, think of a fighter in real life. You know, it's, well, if that's the cockpit for a 2-seater like the F-15 Strike Eagle or the F-18 Super Hornet or the F-14 Tomcat or any other 2-seater fighters, then yeah, that's a pretty good, well, it's not that big. It's wide, yes, but not that big. Now that, I believe, is this cockpit right here. Yeah, it's just flipped upside down. Oh, that's on freeform. So, just use this cockpit here. You place that down, whatever. And then to compare sizes for something, I prefer this one part. Hull 10V5. Don't forget to rotate with the R key until it's right about there. So it's about the same size as the cockpit. Okay, you can use that as a comparison. The second comment is by Always Rogue. He says, "I love your commentary style. Please do more on this game. Maybe make a size 5 destroyer too. And if you can, could you get a better recording thing? If not, no worries." First off, I use Fraps because I didn't know of Bandicam. Bandicam's actually a bit better. However, Bandicam is better if you want to upload videos to YouTube and have it be small on your computer. Bandicam is not better for recording it because it compresses it while you record. So it requires more from the computer, and my computer is already pretty junk. Let's take a look at the Percival. Here it is. There it is. So, if you recall from that thing I just showed you, this part is about the same size as that cockpit. So, yeah, this Assault Destroyer actually isn't that big. I mean, if you take a look at this thing, anywhere on here, if I can actually place it, it's actually not that big. You can just view the size there. You kind of see it. Yeah, it's not terribly big. So this thing would be about the length of a 747, maybe. But it definitely wouldn't be the width or the, well, okay, it's probably a bit taller. My guess is these guns being the size of a cockpit here. Oh, hey, can I actually place it there? Where was that spot? Hey. Oh. Oh. I had it. There we go. So, if that's the size of the cockpit with that bit on the side, because basically this little bit here is actually the size of a cockpit, if even that. So if you, this here, this piece, if it's just a little bit wider on either side, then it's about the size of a small single-seater aircraft, like the ones people use for crop dusting. You know? If that's the case, then that's actually a pretty fair-sized gun. I would say that that gun, in that situation, would be maybe a 16-inch gun. Okay, the barrel isn't that big, but take a look at warships that have 16-inch guns. It's probably about like that. Now, one big thing. Where it says the classification of the ship here is dependent on the mass. For a destroyer, you have to be below 5,500 with your mass. Remember, all subsystems, all weapons, include mass. Subsystems I didn't even know about until just recently. But always rogue? Yeah, I might have a couple of things. First off, I was working on something called the Basilisk, which is, incomplete. It's called a heavy fighter because of its weight. That's pretty small, just really long. Now, I've been working on something much bigger. It's called the Talos. First off, let's take one of these and see if we can't strap it to the side here. This thing is incomplete, first off. I plan on putting weapons on all of these little points all around here. It's just taking me a bit. Now, first off, you'll notice this says Dreadnought. Second, you'll notice it's over 124,000 in mass. So that's the size of that. This is a size 4, or is it size 5 cockpit? I forget. Yes, it's this one. Bridge 1 in size 4. Now I did that because I wanted to. It is enormous. That should be apparent. I believe if in real life it would be about a third of a, more like a fifth of a mile long, maybe. Because remember, that little tiny thing on the back of the cockpit right there, the bridge, is about the size of a small airplane. Okay, a really small airplane. That little tiny thing right there, you can't even see it. But yeah, it's about that big. Now, obviously this thing has a lot of guns. These are all size 5 weapons. I need to put size 1 weapons all along there, and along there, along there, along there. And I need to put some actual cannons in here and here. It's just I was waiting. I was waiting to see if drones came out, then I could stick drones in there, have the drones fly out and make it like a carrier. Now, it does have 81,000 forward and huge amount of power, so I can get a lot of stuff on this. This thing's been upgraded, okay? It's got jump drive, it has kinetic fields, a large crew, and it's got a lot of engines. First off, it actually has engines up here. There's one, there's 2 more on the bottom. It has fuel hiding over there, and a lot of engines in the back. There's 3 of these, 4 of these, 6 of these, and yeah, 4 of those other ones that are up there. When I'm not recording with fraps, this ship makes my computer lag so much I can't fly it. I get maybe 1 frame every 6 to 7 seconds at best. But this is a heavily armed ship. And just look at this. That is ridiculous. These guns here, all these guns here, and yes, it changes there. These are dual cannons. These aren't. These giant cannons there, which are size 5 of those other ones that are on pretty much every single one of my ships, and I'll put size 1 on it later. But yeah, this bridge, there it is. That little thing, which is about the size of a little fighter. So this whole thing, the top, if you're looking down at it, maybe a 737. Okay, no, that's way too big. But I would say that about this area where I'm drawing around with my mouse is bigger than a 747. And it's just, these blocks here, if even that big. Alright. That's, so if that's the size of a 747, then this is like 3 of them long, 3 wide, and several high. So, meh. But that's not what Always Rogue had asked. He didn't want a dreadnought because that's a lot of mass. Another thing is, this thing is slow, even though I have some pretty big engines. So, yeah. You remember my old battleship? Yeah, I was actually working on that, but I decided I'm going to make it a destroyer, I just haven't changed the name yet. Here it is. Here you go, Always Rogue. This is my destroyer. It is 10 mass below the maximum permitted to call a ship a destroyer. First off, there's a size 1 gun. Okay, it's that one turret that I used on my Percival that looked really big. Alright. I have size 2 guns there of the same type. Recognize that. It's the same thing, size 1. Of literally my most favorite part ever. This little guy. 10v5. Well, all of these are my favorite parts, but this is my favorite of them. Now, I wanted these because they kind of look like hangers. The problem is, they added a lot of mass. I mean, look, it's 15 mass right there. If I put this here, just watch. I've got this little tiny thing. I'm gonna put it here. I'm in freeform mode. The mass is 5490. It is currently classified as a destroyer. It weighs 15, so this should go to 5505. Watch the classification. Yep, escort cruiser right there. So this is at the maximum. Now you're thinking, well, what does it have? Well, these ought to be very familiar. There's 6 there. There's 6 down there. These are not that familiar. I believe they're size 2. They're these things? Yeah, they're definitely size 2. That's obviously not a size 2. That's this, a size 5. These are the exact same size that when its brother on the other side are the same size as the main guns on the Dreadnought. And the Dreadnought has dozens of them. Now, one thing you will notice, these two aren't perfectly lined up. I know, so you can get off me for that. These are, but those are not. So, get off me. Now, this thing doesn't have much of a crew, it doesn't have a jump drive, it doesn't have a kinetic barrier. In fact, I had to remove so many things just to keep it below that 5500 limit. But this, I can fly. Now, let's take a look at it. Yeah, this is a size 5 bridge, by the way. Let's go to bridge. There it is. That's the bridge. Size 5. And that's healthy. These things, I forget what they are. Let's see if we can't find them. I believe they are... I think I passed it. No, wait, no, here they are. 10v1s. That are these things. Obviously, these little engines are just size 2s of this. Yes, those are size 2. Want proof? Okay. Obviously, it's this, because the engines are exactly the same. Node mode. There we go. It's the same. I'm just not going to place it. So, Now, that's a pretty big gun. if you were to take this cannon, give it 3 barrels, and make it a size 3. Actually, let me see if I can't find something like that. Well, we have that. Well, tri-barrels. I don't see it. Dual, fixed cannon, quad, fixed gun, triple gun. That's a triple gun. Size 3. Well, this thing in size 3. Okay, yeah, that's size 3. It really jumps in its size. Yeah, okay. Apparently size 4. Give this thing size 4, 3 guns, and you have the main weapons of the battleship Missouri, Iowa, the whole Iowa class. Okay? That's it. That's it right there. Just all those. Oh yeah. Look at the mass. 5. So, what can I do? Well, I don't like this little thing being all alone. Let's add something that's not terribly heavy. How about this? One here. And another in the rear. Actually, that might just be bad, adding it to the rear. Because it might put it up, and I can't remove guns. Remember, you can't remove weapons without removing the whole thing and starting over. So that would suck. But then again, I just saved it. Let me save it again. Yeah, oh, yep, see, I clicked it. I don't even know where I placed it. But it's an escort cruiser. So $54.99. Go back to this. There it is. It's a destroyer. It doesn't have a jump drive. But look at this. Its mass is only 54.95. Total power 18,750. Power needed 13,255. Crew aboard 13. Everything for the crew is 20. Roll sucks. Pitch yaw side backwards. What about the secondary? 5,000 sensor range. Sensor speed 40. Max targets 3. Cargo 1,000. No kinetic field. So I'm pretty sure I need to put in a kinetic field, or else these things aren't going to work. However, take a look at the kinetic field, which it's not even here. The kinetic field isn't even there. Maybe if I check it in, there it is. Mass 10, mass 80, mass 40, mass 20. So I need 10 mass. Well, if I go to this, go to that, look at that, mass 10. Explosive, kinetic, energy, and explosive. So if I get rid of that one, and that one, I believe reflective is energy. So I have explosive and energy. I need what? Kinetic. I have explosive and energy. I need kinetic. Which is this? Let's see. Something small. Well, before that, let's put on the kinetic field. 10. That one. Mass. Update. 95. That's too big. This one. That's the small one. 85. So I need something for kinetic. That'd be this. This should do. There we go. Now, according to this, it's not even. Oh well. It's got a kinetic thing. It's just not working, I guess. But it's got lots of cargo. It doesn't have. It only has half as much. It doesn't have a jump drive. It's got very few weapons, but it's got a big gun. Remember, the largest gun on the Percival was only a size 3. This thing's a size 5. Size 3 will be about the same size as that engine, maybe even smaller. That's a size 2 engine, so it's pretty big. Now, I don't have a classification for this ship yet. Always Rogue, since you gave me since you wanted it, you get to pick. Now, I believe with the mass and the thrust, the thrust is equal to your mass. Meaning, if you have a certain amount in mass, that's what you get for your thrust. You know, if it's a 5,000 mass, then you get 5,000 thrust. And if you have 5,000 thrust, that is, then you got to go 1 kilometer per second. Because remember, this is slightly more than double. Okay, actually, it's a little less than double. Then again, I can be wrong. This is at max speed. Max standard speed. Now, I don't even need to tell you what happens if this thing hits you. That gun there, that gun there, these. So yeah, you got that little gun there, size 2 there, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5. And then